Just got done cooking. You heard me, real nigga. You understand me? You understand me? Got the foodie. We gon' play. We gon' play. We gon' eat. We gon' eat. You know what I'm saying? Guys, subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Like I always say, don't be scared. Subscribe. Channel, man. We eating it. I ain't say it like that, man. Man. She would have put her one. You see how I feel? I feel the quality. Okay. Well, this ain't bad. Hold on. You ain't lying, little mommy.
I hate you.
You ain't lying, little mommy. You ain't lying, little mommy. Mommy know what she doing. Mommy know what she doing. Like how you got your little, like, yeah, how you did that like that. That's, man, I ain't never thought that one. Where you learned that from? Mexico?
What? Well, I was like, what?
Everything that you just did.
I don't know. I guess so. Probably. Yeah, you see me turn that little barbecue on. Pick them fast.
Yeah,
I'll be at the
right.
sideline for you, baby. I got you. I don't know, baby. I just feel like doing stuff.
You smart. I like how smart you is. You smart. I changed you right. You smart. You smart. I changed you right. That bread's so too, boy. That's what it might be.
Maybe.
Where that butter went?
I'm not sure.
Oh man. Oh, we know we had what's called it.
What?
Tomatoes.
Just kind of doing that right here.
Oh, never mind. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Never mind that shit. The butter?
It's right there.
I know I've been from it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I took it out the thing.
Okay.
You know where I'm from. You know what my people like to do.
Butter it up.
You know what my folks like to do. You know where I got it from. You know I'm rooted in. Oh shit.
Wait, why would you eat this on the table?
You were on the table.
It is.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. What? She doodle? Doodle came in her diaper?
Yeah.
Baby, what you want me to do? Like what? Trying to do what?
Take your pants off. Take your pants off.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I can't. What on the carpet?
Bro.
On the carpet. Oh, Emily.
What you want to do with this?
Put it back in.
Bro. I ain't getting them diapers no more. Why the sink, baby? The fuck? Come on now. Now you got shit on the sink. You can, I mean, damn, y'all, that's it. For a shit be all over goddamn place. Right before we about to eat. Alright. Oh shit, do a close this wrong back. Sound check. This.
Is that why you think they wear like aprons? Or they still wear like they still like whatchamacallit?
Who wear aprons? The babies?
No. People that cook.
Check. Yeah, we gotta make sure everybody catching everybody. Everybody catching everybody. And eat. Food got cold because she the shit. But with us, you know, have to get she the shit right. That's man. Had to get the little shitty girl right. The shitty baby.
This is our oxygen system, so this is the bottle you use for normal operation. And all of these are emergency, the ones that are in red. So that's 4 days of emergency oxygen. Pilot's back here, he's typically back here like this with 2 displays. So you can fly off a wall.
And how do you drive it?
With this controller.
He was a humble human being, but he was an arrogant scientist for sure. Like, he knew he was smart. There was no doubt about it. He knew he was a genius here. Just the way he was talking, the confidence, he was a very confident person. Like, he says things with conviction, he tells you what he's gonna do, and he tells you why it works. The way he says it makes you go like, this guy knows what he's talking about.
I think we made great progress in the 60s and 70s on manned ocean exploration, and it died off for a lot of explainable but illogical reasons.
I have long felt that undersea exploration is not an end in itself. To enter this great unknown medium is the privilege of our era.
Most scientists get involved in marine biology because they want to go in the ocean.
Most
They're interested
scientists
in the
sound
ocean, and they have a
like the
passion
same
for
goddamn
it.
voice. Like, shit. Right, your voice don't change.
Even if I gave you a...
Alright, Robin had that same voice, man. Same people reborn, same
representation of the Grand Canyon and piped in the smell of sagebrush, it won't replace being
I feel that discovery stuff. That's why they ain't
Down here, we can clearly hear the squeaks and clicks of the dolphins.
Being able to hear and see and feel the entire environment is something you can't duplicate.
They needed more exposure.
That's
where we came along. The stuff they were making was very basic. So the idea was make us videos so we can catch the attention of people, right? They had wild ideas like they want to take Pearl Jam in the submarine, or he talks about some floating city that could also submerge. Stockton used to say accessibility is ownership. If there's a small island in the middle of the ocean and you're the only one who can access it, doesn't matter who owns it, you have ownership over it because you have the accessibility to get to it. And he truly believed in that.
Hello, I'm Stockton Rush, and I was the pilot today on a dive to look at trawl sites
that makes sense.
Off of Friday Harbor.
He said you better eat well.
I first met Stockton when Ocean Wave was getting off the ground in Seattle.
Nobody can really reach it.
They were actually more focused on science and education, primarily in Puget Sound.
Read you loud and clear topside, Rami.
But in 2015, things started to change.
If you ever wanted to visit the wreck of the Titanic, your opportunity is coming. Tourists will be able to participate in the first submersible expedition to the Titanic since 2005. Mr. Rush, thanks for this today.
Oh, pleasure to be here.
At the time, I was probably the only person on the planet that he knew that had run expeditions to Titanic before.
2.5 miles beneath the ocean surface lies the wreck of the Titanic. There she is. That is unbelievable.
We're an expedition company that delivered around 150, 160 people to Titanic.
Why has it taken so long for something like this to come about? Because as you know, there's a lot of interest even to this day in the Titanic.
Yes, I don't think many people appreciate there are only 4 manned submersibles that can get to the depth of the Titanic.
Titanic is a huge draw card.
I'm actually flying a remotely operated vehicle, and this is Gilligan. I don't know if you can see him there. He's the green sort of toaster on steroids.
I mean, even now, over 100 years after she sank, she just captures people.
People are so enthralled with Titanic. I read an article that said there are 3 words in the English language that are known throughout the planet, and that's Coca-Cola, God, and Titanic.
Stockton saw an opportunity to restart tourist visits to Titanic. There was discussion about how we would market those expeditions, how we would process paying clients, what the experience would look like, and how we would build and grow the product.
CEO Stockton Rush and his team will be the first since 2005 to see the site. Civilians paying the inflated price of first-class passage on the Titanic's maiden voyage.
You're there with a mission, so somebody comes with us, they're going to work on operating the sonar.
But first the idea was to build a team.
As soon as I finished school, I joined the Royal Navy. I ended up working as a commercial diver, ROV pilot, and I've been involved in submersibles for 20 plus years now.
This is L5. Kilo, kilo, kilo.
Roger, L5, hard seal.
My wife Carol, she actually saw an advert online at the time, and she said, we're looking for somebody to fulfill the position of Director of Marine Operations.
A girlfriend of mine happened upon their website and sent it to me and said, wow, look at this, isn't this cool? I started diving in 2013 and I fell in love with it. So I basically was cyber stalking OceanGate for a while, and lo and behold, a bookkeeping job came up.
I was just on LinkedIn one day on the ferry and came across this company that was building submersibles in my backyard. And I thought, I love building stuff. Started in the Navy as a deep sea diver. I studied material science at UC Berkeley.
Rolling. Excellent. Okay.
They're looking for a technician.
What?
Oh yeah, I tell you,
It was a significant pay cut. I'm a CPA and I knew I'd be overqualified, but to be able to combine not only what I'm trained to do, but what my passion is, I mean, it sounds like a dream job to me.
The whole time we worked with OceanGate, everybody was privileged to be there, felt like they were special to be there.
As you can see here, we've got the manned submersible Cyclops. This is a 5-man submersible. It's got a maximum operating depth of 500 meters.
It's going to be running the submersible projects themselves. They have 2 existing subs, Cyclops 1 and Antipodes, and they had the build of Titan, which was exciting. I just felt like I was drawn in to actually do something that potentially nobody had ever done before.
Thanks very much. You may have seen in the write-up of this that I wanted to be an astronaut. That's why I got an engineering degree. I watched Star Trek, Star Wars, and I wanted to see those alien life forms. And eventually I realized that all the cool stuff that I thought was out there is actually underwater. And in fact,
Stockton Rush was definitely a salesman. I got the impression that he wanted to do things differently to be different. Anybody with the right amount of money can build a sub and go down the Titanic. But he was doing it differently.
The goal was, where do you want to go in the ocean? What is the most known site in the ocean? And it's clearly the Titanic. And to go to the Titanic, which is at 3,800 meters, requires a special sub.
Where are they?
His underwater vessel, now under
I'm eating.
construction,
Oh, I'm eating
able
too.
to carry 5 people to the Titanic, more than 2 miles down.
Where is your excitement factor on this? Oh, definitely low.
I mean, Carmen.
Every submersible is different. Some are made of steel, some are made of acrylic, some are made of titanium. But this is the first time a design like this, with a carbon fiber hull, was going to be used at those depths. So it was all unknown, completely unknown.
This is APO, the Applied Physics Laboratory at the University of Washington in Seattle.
With APL, they worked on the mechanical stuff and the control system with the PlayStation controllers. We even had an office down there. I'd go once or twice a week.
With APL being on board, I had a level of comfort. But the big appeal for myself to go over to this project was that the vehicle was going to be getting classed.
When we say something is classed, we're essentially saying that a third-party agency has independently certified it as safe. The analogy would be, if you decide to build a home-built aircraft, you can take yourself and your friends in it so long as nobody pays money. But the minute you want to transport fare-paying passengers in the vehicle, you need to get it certified by an independent agency. In the marine world, that would be called getting the vehicle classed.
They'll look at design, they'll look at build, they'll look at annual inspections on these things. OceanGate's other 2 subs had been classed. So with this whole vision of going to Titanic with this new sub that was meant to be getting classed, what's not to appeal?
Rush says his submersible is one of the safest forms of transportation in the world.
By the time we're done testing it, I believe it's pretty much in line. And that's pretty much what they said about the Titanic. That's right.
gonna make me sleep or what? You put too much shit on it.
No, I don't like how it tastes.
You know? More for me.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. Thank you. You may be seated.
We do the hearing in the form of a trial. It looks like a court setting.
Good morning, Mr. Nissen.
Morning, sir.
All of my questions are related to your background and then your experience with Ocean Gate as a director of engineering.
Sure, sounds good.
Several investigators asked the questions. Every witness in this instance has the right to counsel. Also participating in the hearing are the parties in interest, and in this case we had Ocean Gate attorneys. You want to get to the facts, and that's the primary goal of a hearing. Cut through the rumors and get to actually what happened.
In what year did you begin working with Ocean Gate?
March of 2016.
And in March of 2016, what were you hired on as?
The director of engineering.
And what were your roles and responsibilities in that job as a director of engineering?
I was pitched by Ocean Gate that the Cyclops 2 craft was nearly complete. I was going to put together the parts and then just start executing it. And so I was... My apologies, that's my watch telling me I have an abnormally high heart rate. I was originally asked to just finish this. It was going to be a year, and that's it.
And how would you describe the workplace environment when you started with the company?
The first week was great.
The first week was great. My brother second was better.
We've studied Mr. Rush and his leadership style, so I feel like we have a good understanding of how he ran the business.
Meaning, what exactly?
Well, he took a lot of employment actions in front of others. You know, it wasn't behind the scenes. I think people knew if you challenged the boss on some of these issues, that there was a possibility you'd be gone.
During my time there, and I'm not sure exactly when it dawned on me, but the business model didn't start to make sense to me. We didn't have an income stream. He said that they were going to flag the Titan in the Bahamas and launch out of Canada so that they wouldn't fall into U.S. jurisdiction, but that if the Coast Guard became a problem, they would buy his own congressman and make it go away.
Mr. McCoy, is that a direct quote?
He said I would buy a congressman. I've never had anybody say that to me directly, and I was aghast, and basically after that I resigned from the company, and I couldn't work there anymore.
In those early days, he was quite easy to get in contact with. He was very approachable. And I was very interested in what they were planning to do, which was kind of democratize ocean exploration. Got in touch with the company, I talked with Stockton, and then he invited me to come on their prototype vessel. Stockton was a typical startup entrepreneur. I've met many of them, dozens over the years, hundreds probably.
Where did this guy come from? Like, what do you know about Stockton?
You know, he came from privilege, there's no doubt about that. He was a graduate of Princeton. Not the strongest student academically, but he obviously got an engineering degree. He built his own airplane from a kit, and that's a plane he would fly for many years afterward. Later he even built a kit submersible. You know, very confident, full of enthusiasm. Both Stockton and his wife Wendy were from generational wealth. In fact, Stockton could actually trace his ancestry all the way back to two signers of the Declaration of Independence.
We read you loud and clear. How do you read us? When you speak just fine. I'm going to lift off.
His wife Wendy, she was the great-granddaughter of two people who actually perished on the Titanic. The Strausses had formed a mercantile empire that actually resulted in such household names as the Macy's department store. So Stockton was definitely part of the 1%.
Stockton could be a very awkward person, and if he wasn't happy with somebody, he was very vocal. very local.
I have emails that were supplied to me by an anonymous source that shows how he dealt with people in his organisation. And there was plenty there that was concerning.
I had started hearing some stories about Stockton's temper. He seemed to be very defensive whenever anybody asked questions that were pointed.
Are you aware of any dives where
he would blame everything on everybody else? He came across, even initially, as quite arrogant.
It all really started with the idea that there had to be some kind of business opportunity in exploring the ocean. To me, that's where we're going to have cities before we have them up in space.
On the moon?
Yeah.
That is so cool. And there are so many incredible minerals. He wanted to be Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk.
It's amazing.
It is a fixer-upper of a planet. But eventually you can transform Mars into an Earth-like planet.
How would you do that?
He referred to those guys as big swinging dicks. And he loved that term and used it all the time.
It's supposed to be good toasted, maybe.
He was using OceanGate and how OceanGate was different with the carbon fiber from anybody else in the industry.
Is it?
If he can pull this off, he can be a big swinging dick too.
Would you describe Titan, based on the information that you know, as an experimental manned submersible?
Yeah, but it was an experimental submersible that they had already taken deposits to go to the Titanic in.
I don't know right now.
Everybody's not that ready, man. It's just funny.
I was hesitant to tell my wife and my family what I was doing because I was still a little bit skeptical. If I tell them, they're going to be worried. So I didn't want to put them through that. You could tell that Stockton was in charge. It was his operation.
Okay. You got it? Take what you do on the back. We have clients that are Titanic enthusiasts, which we refer to as Titaniacs. A lot of our mission specialists are also space people. It differs in a significant way in that we actively seek the involvement of the mission specialists who come out with us.
So, head call for the mission specialists. Dive checks, round 4. Pre-brief now, we're just doing...
The term mission specialist is a word. There are some rules about operating vessels at sea. Those rules differ depending on whether you are a crew member or you're a paying passenger.
There are things that are maybe less critical. For example, reviewing video content. You know, you're not going to hurt anybody if you mess that up. But we have our mission specialists closing the dome. Well, that's pretty critical.
Stockton was trying to confuse them, insisting that nobody was ever referred to as a passenger.
Colin Taylor, mission specialist. Richard Taylor, mission specialist.
It was just one of the steps that OceanGate took to
Jack,
make
should I
sure
go
that
for
they
another
could
burger?
work around US legislation.
There's certain things that you want to be buttoned down, and that's the pressure vessel. You know, once the pressure vessel is, you're certain it's not going to collapse on everybody, everything else can fail.
I should have been important there. I would.
One of the things that impressed me is the total transparency. In all of the documentation, it was very straightforward.
I don't even feel like I was
You're
letting my
basically
stomach right
signing
now.
your life away.
I feel like I should have went straight through me.
I've got to say, being
But
one
you
of
know
the
that's not
first
the
to
trend,
go
right?
to the bottom of the ocean in an experimental sub sounds frightening.
Well, you're not alone. A lot of people have said that to me, but I felt confident. I felt confident in both Stockton and in PH. PH has been there 37 times, and he knows, everything about the Titanic and a whole lot about submersibles and divers.
He's because you never see the same thing exactly.
This is an elite French research vessel. George Tulloch is the expedition leader. Tulloch's company, RMS Titanic, is responsible for conserving the historic ocean liner. To coordinate the expedition, Tulloch has chosen P.H. Marjolet, a former French Navy commander.
I scared you. I thought you was ready for that one. I thought you were ready for it.
Alors quand j'étais petite, nous vivions dans la sud de la France. Mon père pas souvent à la maison parce qu'il était souvent en déplacement avec la marine. Il faisait des commissions en mer.
You gotta overcome the level. You gotta get back with me.
Il découvrait de nouveaux objets, il pouvoir récupérer les objets, puis les protéger. C'était sa passion au travail.
Steve's mission media and marketing.
I should have mentioned with you. Oh, wait, come on, little baby. Oh, shit.
No.
Most experienced submersible pilot in the world. Bravo.
Et il ne travaillait pas pour Ocean Gate, je préfère le dire. Il était invité. Ça, c'est important.
There was a certain amount of anticipation.
Get this out that mouth.
They call it the abyss.
That mouth.
When we're coming across the floor, all of a sudden there's this big wall, and that was surreal. It was, oh my God, that's it.
We are alongside the bow now. Right there is the bow. Yeah, I can see the bow. Oh wow, look there. Is that a telegraph or something? Yeah.
Those are all the plaques.
Yeah, the plaques, yeah.
There was a million things running through my head, but the main thing was that I'm actually here seeing this. This was incredible. And I'll never forget that.
It's an incredible view. More people are getting a chance to see up close. This expedition included nationally and world-renowned scientists, explorers, and Titanic experts. Leading the charge on this expedition is OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush.
How do you feel?
Well, I did how I felt right when we were done, which was exhausted. And now I'm just...
I was really happy for them. I wanted them to succeed because their goal was noble.
Today we're getting some new first images from historic dive by Ocean Gate founder.
And we are pleased to say that the CEO and founder, Stockton Rush, joins us live from Connecticut with more. Stockton, this is incredible.
I didn't really have a chance to absorb it until I got back to the ship. When I got to the surface was this amazing thing, because it had been 12 years I've been working to do this, and to get there was great.
You do have to acknowledge, you didn't do what he set out to do. I took the carbon fiber cell.
Yes, that is true, but there was no way of knowing when it was going to fail, but it was a mathematical certainty that it would fail. So having a dive or 2 or 10 to Titanic is not a measure of success. And personally, I will never understand how it survived the first test dives. The investigation will show that there was some switching of hulls about halfway through the process because the earlier one did fail.
Oh no. Now you know your hand was sucking weird. Alright. Hey, that do that. No what happened. No what happened. You put I'm happy with the body for everything that happened to you.
Today we'll be doing our third pressure test of the carbon fiber hull. Reasonably, we would like to get to 6,000 psi, which is about 4,100 meters, but there's a non-zero probability that it may implode, as it did in the first test at the beginning.
They did multiple tests because they were testing the depth. How deep can we go?
I knew it was new materials they were going to be using, the carbon fibre. I knew nothing about carbon fibre until I moved across. Nothing.
Carbon fibre is essentially string made from carbon. It's coated in a glue or a resin to hold it together. Carbon fibre is very, very strong, and it's a lighter and cheaper material.
It's in many new systems, many new products. People are using it for lots of reasons because it's really light, really strong.
When I looked at the cost of operating a sub, it's the ship. The two things that drive the cost of submersible operation, not the replenishing the oxygen or the carbon dioxide scrubber, that's nothing. It's all about the ship, and the next most important thing is mobilization. How do you get the stuff from one location to another? That's 90% of your cost.
If you were to build a 5-person sub out of steel and titanium, it would be extremely large, it would be extremely heavy, it would need something enormous to lift it out of the water, to carry it.
What about these ones I'm holding right now? They don't have a lot of this deck doesn't go any higher than where it is.
If you can realise that dream of a carbon fibre submersible, you could drop the price, you can suddenly have fleets of these submersibles operating around the world.
Okay, now what? He's gonna do all that?
Yeah. It's not like metal. Titanium is extremely well understood. Carbon fibre is far more idiosyncratic in that the little fibres inside there can snap. That snap, that actually creates a sound.
We have the acoustic sensors. If we have carbon fiber that snaps, we can pick that up.
I'm eating peanut butter and slice of cake. Oh, what type of cake that is? Is it chocolate? Is it strawberry?
Carbon cracks inside the hull.
Oh, it's a vanilla?
Detect that
Man, I don't miss some cake,
crack, which is indicative of structural failure.
That's some fuzz.
How you doing, y'all?
This was called the acoustic monitoring system. It was basically an array of microphones all over the hull that listened for each of those fibres breaking. The sound of that carbon fibre snapping, OceanGate believed, could actually be used to determine whether it was about to fail the whole structure. In 2021, their website claimed that their real-time monitoring is an unparalleled safety feature, so that anyone inside that submarine would get a forewarning that had time to stop the descent surface safely.
We hope that we hear nothing. That would be ideal, that we hear nothing and that, the structure is perfectly sound the whole way through the test.
How did you get involved with Russian Gate?
So we had contacted somebody at Boeing, so both myself and the other gentleman, Jake, worked for Boeing.
Connecting with Boeing helped a lot. Carbon fiber was something these Boeing engineers understood, and they were just based literally, steps away from Ocean Gate's headquarters in Everett, Washington. So the Boeing team there in 2013 created a concept design document. It was a pretty hefty document, like 30 pages, I think. In that document, I would say they had set out a path or a roadmap to build such a vessel. But these Boeing engineers were very concerned about the possible performance of the carbon fiber hull.
The purpose for this test is we've scaled the hull down to about a quarter of the size, the full-size model. We assemble it, we put all our instrumentation in it, we run it and put it into the chamber, and it simulates taking that hull down to the depth that we want to go. Stable.
Yeah, we're stable. Okay.
John, you ready? 1500? Okay.
Each one of these pulses is some kind of an event in the hull. Epoxy settling or a strand breaking, hopefully not breaking, but...
What's our pressure, John?
You're at 3,500.
4? Let's go to 4. Where are we at?
There we are. What do you think, Dave? Let's just see how she settles down, but that's a lot of events.
Yeah, you have one.
Okay.
Where did it go to?
Went to 4,000. Yeah, about 4,000. So at least you know how acoustic monitoring works.
Yeah, but yeah, the fact that he couldn't even, if he didn't get to the last pressure we did last time. That solves a lot.
That day, they were super excited, and when it exploded, they got pissed.
Yeah.
You're telling him to speak English. Oh, not that man voice.
Wait, where's my finger?
Oh, yeah, I remember my last bite. My last bite got it happen. I'm just trying to see what happened to you over here.
Stockton, he had that vibe of like, everything is gonna work out, like, we got this.
Look at that. Oh, there's something in for an explode. Wow. Okay. I think it was around 3,000 psi. We started to see a little bit of acoustic activity on one of the hemispheres, and it got worse. And when we stopped at 4,000 psi, the whole thing failed. So the good news is we started to see evidence of failure before it happened, which was one of the test objectives, to validate the acoustic monitoring and see if you can predict failure. All tests are good tests.
At the same time, the people took on.
That came out different. It's just a piece of art. It's regular technical.
The monitoring system for the hull was something that was dreamt up by Ocean Gate in order to try and give some comfort to people who are asking too many questions.
After we set the threshold to 2,000, now here we have a bunch of events that have happened here on a number of different data channels. So right now it's been relatively quiet at 6,000. So we're going to go up to 6,500. And if we start seeing some events, we'll stop.
You know, if I have a ski made of carbon or composite material, and I'm putting pressure on the ski and you can hear it creaking and cracking, you don't actually know when it's going to snap.
I would say that was it. Yeah, I think so.
So you're listening to this thing screaming, you're listening to it stressing and telling you that it's under immense pressure, but it can't tell you when it's going to fail.
The Boeing engineers sent Stockton an analysis of that hull, forces exerted on the hull as it would go deeper and deeper, that had a skull and crossbones at the depth just below, where a Titanic would be sitting. It was quite a telling sign to me that their concerns went pretty deep.
And why did OceanGate and Boeing stop working together?
I don't know exactly, I think maybe we were too expensive.
Even when it was obvious that Boeing wasn't going to build the sub, Stockton kind of had the recipe book. And then I think Stockton realized that he needed some engineering expertise in-house. You couldn't contract everything out to University of Washington, APL.
As the director of engineering, did you make all engineering decisions?
No.
Did you make any engineering decisions?
Yes.
And who would make the majority of the engineering decision?
It was Stockton. Most people would just eventually back down from Stockton. Like it was almost death by 1,000 cuts.
So Tony came on board, I think, 2016. He centralized a lot of the engineering expertise and hired other engineers and built up the engineering team that were to really replace UW, to do their own designs and to create a finished vessel.
Stockton turned to me and said, "Well, that's your problem." The wreck itself lies off Nantucket. We steamed out with the submersible Cyclops 1. We knew it was going to be the test for the company, and it was going to be very dangerous.
We're going to stay down as long as possible. We have a new comms procedure. We're going to go 2 hours. We're going to drop 100 meters up front.
Like Titanic, the plan was to actually map the entire wreck. I was going to be taking 4 of the paying passengers down. But on the day of diving, Stockton decided he no longer wanted me in the sub. He was going to be taking the passengers down, and that's when I protested. The wreck is decaying at a rapid rate. It's very, very dangerous. There's a lot of hazards. He just decided he wanted to do what he wanted to do, and he was the CEO. So we did lock heads on that day. I eventually persuaded him to allow me to come in the sub, but he wanted to pilot it.
Possibly hurting yourself.
I'm going to start the camera now. Go for it. Go ahead. That did well.
That did well. Is you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Is you shitting me? Is you shitting me? Yo, if you shitting me? Dive. You shitting me? If you shitting me? If you shitting me?
Roger, lift off.
Terrible Lars.
Yeah.
Roger, review topside. We are 32 meters descending.
All good. At 40 meters.
Bottom contact. We are at 8 meters off.
Nothing yet. There it is.
Right there.
Yeah, bring it in. Fully empty.
Oh.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
You see it perfectly well.
Yeah.
Can we,
rotate a little bit more.
Well, very, very close.
Don't forget, reach far down.
There's debris all around us.
Yeah, right, okay.
That's a shot right out here.
Well,
so I'm just saying, we're a little close. I'm not telling you.
Just tell me, are we moving?
He came down, drove forward 3 meters away from the bow. Basically, he brought us into a debris field.
Okay, I'm gonna put some lights on. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay? Yep. I'm gonna lower to the 3 o'clock so that we drift past him.
Okay.
Okay?
And the wreck's only 3 meters off to the port side. Stop. So, oh, come down. Calm down. Keep coming down. Okay, if you get nothing ahead of you, kick ahead, okay? Kicking ahead slowly.
What is it?
I don't know. Just keep going. About a hull. He brought us in to the starboard side and
Girl, what are you doing? Stop doing it. Your phone better die, baby.
I'm probably go dig. It's about to go dead in more minutes. Alright, be logging out, y'all. We be right back.